AI assistants or AI knowledge bases are still one of the best ways to use AI in your business today. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use NotebookLM, a Google tool, to build out a custom knowledge base or brain that can help your team answer questions on the fly. So what we're going to do is use the NotebookLM to upload our SOPs and then have that be able to be used across your team to answer specific questions. Now, this does work best if your team is already using the Google Suite because it's built in and you can do sharing and all of those things. So if you haven't seen NotebookLM, it's basically just another tool built on Gemini, owned by Google, that will help you answer questions, do research, build out FAQs, make podcasts, which is really cool, and a few other features. One of the ones that I love best is just the ability to share it with my team so everyone can have access to answers on the fly. So one of the ways we use this is we actually have our team build out NotebookLMs for each individual client. So they come in, the team does a whole bunch of research on that client. We build out some databases, we input their website, and then we have a knowledge base. So that way I run a PR firm, they can have conversations with a knowledge base and get more information about that business to get ideas on how to pitch them and get unique angles, and even generate similar quotes to what that founder or CEO would say based off of the branding, the mission, the why, all of that we get to upload. So in here, you'll see NotebookLM. I have an example one, but I'm going to start from scratch. So we'll create new. So this is what it looks like once you're in there. I do have the pro version as part of my Google Suite. So I think that most businesses will have this if they're using Google Suites and not Outlook. So when we come in here, it's basically asking you to upload information. So the cool thing is you can go directly to Google Drive, which is one of the reasons why I love this so much. So I can come in here and I can take Google Files. We do have basically a whole bunch of SOPs. So you'll see all of these are, and I can go to my Drive. So I have a folder that's called all SOPs. It's literally, I have an organized way to do this, but they're all numeric and they answer questions about the business. So my last couple were on sales because I'm building out some sales SOPs. So let me just grab a couple of them and then insert. So just like that, they're uploading and we can be off to the races. So if you have a folder for a specific client or a specific task, so maybe an operations task, things like that, you can upload these things. Now let's add a couple more things so we can learn more about. So these weren't all sales, but you can see that it even named it based on what I just told you it would be. And it did that intelligently. So now let's do a couple other things. I want to add some links in here. So let's add a website. So I want to add my website. I own Otter PR, one of the fastest growing PR agencies in the United States. We're a 2-time Inc. 5000 awardee for fastest growing privately owned business. So now I just did that single page. I don't think it does tree maps or site trees for SEO purposes. I think it just pulls in that page. So you'd have to pull in specific pages that you wanted to do. So let's just grab that one. Let's grab, probably our enterprise service, which tells a little bit about, so full service, tells us a little bit more about everything Otter offers. So I'll go ahead and throw that in here. So again, in this example, we're building a knowledge base based on our information, but you could do this internally, which I think is amazing because your team, instead of having to go ask you questions all the time or go through 30,000 documents of SOPs, they can literally have a chat here. And the best part is it'll cite the sources and they can open those sources if they're shared with them. So we added some websites. Obviously, I won't go through every example. You can add YouTube videos. You can paste just general information. So this is what it looked like, just pasting information there. Personally, I would just do it through a Drive. You can rename them. You can remove them from the knowledge base. So I do think one of the coolest things about NotebookLM is the ability to share it like you would share a Google Drive. So I'm going to share this internally with my team. So I can share this with my co-founder. I don't want him to be notified. I can make it so he can view, edit. I'm just going to give him view access. You can make a custom welcome note, and then you can give them access to chat only or to see everything. So for a lot of the internal team, for your users, you probably only want them to be able to chat. Whereas for some of the people that need full access, like my co-founder who wants to maybe build this out with me, he would just want that full access. And then I can just go ahead and share it. So there's a couple cool other features that I'm going to poke around and show you guys before I really get into how to actually use this and why it's so powerful for your team. So it does generate a podcast for you based on the information. You can add custom notes, so you can take notes on here, which is why it's NotebookLM. You can create study guides. So it's generating a study guide for you. One of the things that I love is it can generate FAQs. I just did a video on how to build an AI agent using voice. Now you could actually take a bunch of a client's information, upload it here, and then have it create an FAQ. And that would be very helpful. Now you can do that with other AI models, but this is just a built-in really nice way. So here is that study guide based on the information, and it turns it into a specific note. So we'll go back in here and you'll see these are the notes that I talked about. So you can come in here and basically keep all your notes on a specific client built into this system. So really for us, this is becoming the hub for our clients. I can delete a note, I can generate that FAQ. So it's checking all those sources and it'll generate what it thinks would be the most common questions someone might ask. I also really like that it creates timelines for you. So I'm just kind of creating these just so you guys can see what it looks like. Here is that one. So as you're building these custom notes, you're actually able to add them in as sources. If you come over here, you can turn these into sources. So that way the AI, if you're building in notes or instructions right here, it will then be able to take that information into your source and it will be built into your responses. And the best part is you can actually edit these. So on the side, I have it creating a timeline for us, a brief document. So it's building all of this. The brief is really cool. Again, these are just ways for people to interact and learn your data, especially when you have a whole bunch of data. This is hundreds of pages. No one from my team is going to read through that. But specific use case for this would be asking unique questions, getting overviews. It's still building that podcast. But again, here, so again, this is a sales. So I'm going to ask it a sales related question. So I'm going to ask it a sales related question. I just want to know how to respond if someone asks me that they want to see the ROI to our service. So it'll pull in from those sources and it's going to also cite, which is the powerful thing. And then from an operations standpoint, you can have it also ask things like, what do I do after I make a sale? So here it is. It's pulling specifically from our knowledge bases. It's putting it all together. It's giving it a pretty lengthy answer, but you can actually redefine these and make them shorter if you want. You can save them as a note. So I could say this as a note and then train the AI on this further. You can vote them up and down, but the sourcing is where the power is for this knowledge base, because you can build this for your team so that they can research things very quickly. So if you get a bunch of questions all the time, this is where it becomes so powerful because you can implement that. Or for clients, you can have it think a little bit more independently based on their information. So if a client gives you hundreds of pages or they have a huge website, you can learn off of that very quickly. And you'll see this is where it's citing it. It's pulling in all that information from that SOP. It'll link directly to that live Google Drive, which is pretty incredible, to be honest. And it goes to our objection handling document. So you see that it works really well. We'll go ahead and shrink that. It's still loading that podcast. I want to show you that example. So in the meantime, we'll go ahead and so you can refresh and basically start over if you wanted to. In this top right corner, you can kind of configure what kind of answers you're getting. So the default, more analytical, more of a guide, and then choose your length. So I actually like shorter answers because I want to be concise with my team. And then you can customize this. So you can actually tell it, you can give it a prompt on how to answer and how to analyze this. So that's where the magic becomes, is customizing this. So I want to customize it and I want to make it short. And so then I would say, actually let's use chat to do this. So when I create prompts, I actually like to use voice to text. So I'm going to do that right now so you guys can watch. All right, so you're helping me make a prompt for NotebookLM on how to respond. So I'm going to have my NotebookLM respond as a sales executive, expert or sales manager who has years of copywriting, objection handling, and process in the sales systems. And then they're going to give concise answers that are very easy to read and understand and written in a simple language for my team with citations, so that way they can be successful on and off calls. So I will turn that into a prompt. If you guys see other videos, I like to do a lot of things with dictation and I use AI to build on top of that. So this is literally going to give me a prompt. We'll throw that in. Okay, it has to be 500 characters max. So we'll update it. We'll just ask the AI to shorten it a little bit. Well, now it's too short, but that's okay. We're just doing this for an example. Obviously, you can see that there's back and forth here. And then we'll go ahead and save. So now let's ask that exact same question that we asked up here, but let's go ahead and refresh this. So this is really towards the end of what I wanted to show you. The next piece of it is going to be the AI audio, which is going to be pretty cool. So let's see how, so still fairly long. So I'd have to go look at that prompt again. So it's still a good answer and I'd have to read through it, but I want something more of like a yes, no. So let's just see if we can make that any shorter. And then we'll refresh that one more time and see. And with AI prompting, it does take a little bit of playing with. So let's just go ahead and try this out. Oh, and I did leave out the mind mapping, which I think is really cool. So we'll do that after this too. So you'll see that as you play with these prompts, there you go. So it's definitely shorter. You can see that it's a little bit lighter. I personally would like it a little bit even lighter, but this is getting closer. So maybe saying specifically how much or how long you want to be. You can do an audio overview. So I'm dyslexic, so I love audio overviews, and then mind maps. Mind maps is one of the most critical things. So it's going to generate that. I was actually looking for this and I couldn't find it. It used to be, I think, over here. So let's check out this audio file.
Ever wondered what it really takes to turn a curious inquiry into a successful long-term business partnership, especially in a field that moves as fast as public relations? Today, we're taking a deep dive into the meticulously crafted sales process of a top-tier public relations firm, or PR.
So there you go. It knows exactly what it's talking about. I'm obviously not going to make us listen to the whole thing, but it goes into depth, and I think you can even edit it. So good to...
Ever wonder what it really takes to turn, oh, our listeners got something to share. Let's hear it.
Okay, so this is really cool. I guess you can join the audio and it'll record it. I've never tested this before.
Well, hello there. Welcome, welcome.
Oh, this is fantastic. We're so glad you're joining us live today.
This is exactly what we love. This is why we do these interactive podcasts.
Yeah, that's really cool feedback. Thank you for letting us know.
And it absolutely will record. So any questions here?
Okay, so that's just crazy. You can have a conversation with it, which I did not know you could do. So you can come into the podcast and actually have a conversation and be part of that podcast, which I guess looks like it's in beta. So that's crazy. And then the mind map over here, this is also one of the coolest things as you build out, especially for more operation standpoints or sales, you can build out these LLM mind maps of the sales process. So we're going to come in here into sales process. It'll build more information, and then you can jump into here into what department, what pipeline. Let's talk about sales tools. What sales tools are we using? So this is actually the sales tools we use. So Go High Level is our main CRM. Instantly we do for cold email outreach. Asana is we do actually manage some leads in there, and it's also our project management software. Answer Connect is our phone service. Plecto does our sales tracking, yes, and WooCommerce is where we track revenue. So you can see how powerful this is. Let's go into Go High Level, and it's gonna start answering questions about Go High Level. And you can see that it's definitely shorter and more concise than it was before based on that custom prompting that we did up in here. So they've gotten really good at building a custom AI into something that's usable, and it does look like you can even get analytics in here. For my team, we've done things in the past using other tools like GPT Trainer to make these custom AIs that can integrate with Slack and integrate on landing pages. But the whole team is used to using Google infrastructure. So if we just had this and they have it saved for their ops or for a client, which we have tagged in Asana for each client, then it becomes really, really powerful. So I really hope you guys liked videos like this. I do have some freebies down below, including lead list, getting featured on USA Wire, and access to my course. If you guys want to get involved, please make sure to hit that link down below and subscribe. Thank you.